Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Freetown to Ali Main Road closed due to collapsed culvert. The National Works Agency is advising that the Freetown to Ali Main Road in the vicinity of Monimus Glaze housing scheme in Clarendon has been closed. The corridor has been closed due to the collapsed culvert. The culvert, which was made from plastic, was burnt by vandals. As a result of the closure, motorists traveling from the direction of Lionel Town towards Ali or Rocky Point will have to make a left turn through the Monimus Glaze housing scheme existing onto the main road to Ali and to Rocky Point. The reverse obtains for motorists traveling in the opposite direction. Motorists are being reminded to obey the instructions of the flagmen and traffic signs posted along the corridor during the period of work. 2 killed in Intrelloni crash. 2 persons died following a 2-vehicle collision along the North Coast Highway in Intrelloni last night. The deceased are 34-year-old Kamar Sinclair of Clarkstown, Intrelloni, and 51-year-old Austin Jarrett of Duncans, which is also in the parish. It is reported that about 9:30 p.m., Jarrett and his sister Arjo were traveling in a Toyota Corolla motorcar along the roadway. It is further reported that a Toyota Fielder motorcar driven by Dennis Brown with Sinclair aboard overtook a line of vehicles and crashed into the Corolla. Both vehicles were extensively damaged. The occupants of both cars sustained multiple injuries. They were taken to hospital, where Kamar Sinclair and Austin Jarrett died, and the other 2 persons were admitted. Indicom awaiting ballistic report in dog paw killing. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is awaiting the ballistics report for the weapons of the police who were involved in the fatal shooting of reputed gangster Christopher Dogpaw Linton last October. Linton, 35, was shot during an alleged confrontation with the police in Elsinton Flats, St. Andrew on October 11. A Glock 45 pistol was reportedly recovered from the scene. Checks made by reporters reveal that the commission has conducted interviews and collected statements from all police personnel involved in the incident. Their weapons have been submitted for testing to the Institute of Forensic Science and Legal Medicine. Our processes included the collection and boxing of firearm of the concerned officers, the collection of initial accounts from the security force, requisition for written statements to be submitted pursuant to Section 21 of the Independent Commission of Investigations Act, and the collection of aforementioned statements. Indicom Commissioner Hugh Faulkner stated, the reputed gangster, who had been in prison since 2013, was freed by the Court of Appeal. In 2013, Linton and Michael Allen were found guilty of gun charges and were each sentenced to 15 years in prison for illegal possession of a firearm and 15 years for shooting with intent. Linton and Allen were accused of shooting at 2 policemen traveling in a service vehicle along Tavern Drive, St. Andrew, in April 2010. The men had denied the allegations at their trial. Stop the Bleed. NCU offers free training in bleeding control techniques. With more than 480 fatalities as a result of motor vehicle crashes last year and excess bleeding often the main cause of death, Northern Caribbean University NCU is taking steps to train members of the public who have shown an interest in bleeding control techniques. The training, which was conducted last week, was facilitated by Associate Professor in the Department of Surgery at the University of South Florida, Marconi College of Medicine, Dr. Louise, his wife Dr. June, Stimulation Curriculum and Development Director at the University of Tampa in Florida, and Stop the Bleed instructor and stimulator educator and NCU Associate Professor in the Department of Nursing, Dr. McLean. The event was held at the Hyacinth Cheng School of Nursing, located at the university's Mandeville campus. The only thing more tragic than death by bleeding is a death that could have been prevented, said Dr. Linworth Jacobs, a Jamaican-born trauma surgeon who works in the United States of America and started this program after a tragedy in Connecticut. This training will help Jamaicans help other Jamaicans, doctors stated. According to statistics from the Ministry of Transport and Mining, a total of 483 Jamaicans died in 435 fatal crashes in 2021. Speaking at the launch of the initiative on Wednesday at the NCU's main campus, Dr. Lorena explained that training will allow individuals to identify the bleeding, apply pressure, pack the wound, and if necessary, use a tourniquet in a medical emergency until medical professionals arrive. Dr. McLean added that the training sessions accommodated participants who are capable of training other individuals. The plan is to roll out the program across Jamaica. We have 70 persons that we are going to train this week, and about a quarter of them will be able to train others because I have spoken to physicians and nurses and other healthcare providers. The plan is then to roll it out into the schools, tourism and fisheries industries, and through the churches across Jamaica. President of NCU, Dr. Lincoln Edwards, hopes that the initiative will wean people off using phones to record an incident scene and post inappropriate content rather than help the victims. Stop the Bleed is one of the largest public health campaigns in the U.S. and has already been launched in countries across the world. By launching the program in Jamaica on January 5th, NCU will seek to engage people and organizations to join the cause. Stop the Bleed is supported by the United States Department of Defense, the American College of Surgeons, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and many other organizations across the U.S. and around the world. Alliance Financial pleads guilty to financial crimes. Alliance Financial Services Limited yesterday pleaded guilty to several counts of financial crimes in Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. Sentencing is to be handed down on March 3rd. When the matter was called up yesterday morning, Robert Chin, one of the principals of Alliance Financial Limited, entered the plea on the company's behalf. The plea is in relation to offences connected to the lending of monies and accepting deposits without authorization. Businessmen Peter Chin and Robert Chin, the principals of Alliance Financial Limited, AFL, and Alliance Investment Management Limited, AIML, are facing several charges of alleged breaches of the Bank of Jamaica BOJ Act, the Banking Service Act, and the Proceeds of Crime Act. Alliance Financial and Peter Chin were charged with carrying the business or lending foreign currency without being an authorized dealer in relation to more than 20 foreign currency loans totaling approximately US $8 million to various entities. Robert and Peter Chin are jointly charged for alleged breaches of the Banking Services Act for accepting deposits without the requisite license from the BOJ relating to a series of deposits in excess of US $7.5 million over a 3-year period from 2014 to 2017. Additionally, Alliance Investment was charged with failure to file threshold transaction reports as mandate under the Proceeds of Crime Act for transactions of or exceeding US $15,000 or its equivalent in any other currency to the Financial Investigations Division (FID). Yesterday, the court was told, based on Alliance Financial plea agreement, the case against the accused men in their personal capacities will be dealt with by their prosecution. The Chins, who are non-executive directors of both Alliance Financial and Alliance Investment, have their bail extended to return to court on March 3rd when the matter will be heard. The case against Alliance Investment is also proceeding, and it is also to be heard on March 3rd. The men accused are being represented by attorney-at-law Tom Tavares Benson. Education sector will need billions to recover from COVID-19, says Patterson. Chairman of the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission, Professor Orlando Patterson, says the total cost of recovery from COVID-19 for Jamaica's educational sector will be in the region of $2.5 billion annually for 2 years. And he is warning the inaction could cost some US $5.5 billion. Patterson, who is a Joint Course Professor of Sociology at Harvard University, said this projection is in keeping with estimates from the World Bank. COVID has been a calamity for our students, as you know, and it has exacerbated the existing problems of equity. The cost of recovery will be great. The World Bank estimates that the total cost of recovery will be something in the order of 2.5 billion Jamaican dollars annually for 2 years, but we better do it because the cost of inaction, the World Bank estimates, will be in the region of US $5.5 billion, which will be unevenly more by the population, Patterson stated. Patterson was speaking at the virtual launch of the Reform of Education in Jamaica 2021 report yesterday. He continued, so we can choose between spending this extra amount upfront now for only $2.5 billion to make up back for what we've lost, or we can do it or not do it efficiently and end up with the final cost of US $5.5 billion. It's a no-brainer of what we should do. He also emphasized that in addition to COVID-19 crisis, Jamaica's educational sector is in a crisis of poor performance and an organizational crisis. The World Bank calls this a learning crisis, the fact that we have achieved success in placing students in schools, but they're not performing well, he said. On the other hand, Patterson said COVID-19 has brought some silver lining to reforming Jamaica's education sector. He said the pandemic forced the teaching profession associated with the Ministry of Education to acquire the skills of remote learning in a hurry, and the reluctance that existed before vanished. Our commission began its work several months ago after COVID struck, and that prevented us from doing certain things which would have been necessary under normal circumstances, such as visiting schools, Patterson said. However, COVID did have some silver lining. One of them was that we had to work through Zoom, which meant that we were able to interview, to meet with as much larger number of stakeholders than we would have had in meeting persons. Jacquier remanded until March 8. After a 2-hour hearing yesterday, reggae singer Jacquier was remanded once again until March 8, when the trial, the substantive hearing into his attempted murder case in Amsterdam, will be placed. The prison wall singer with his attorney appeared in the court facing a battery of charges that includes attempted murder and aggravated assault. The public prosecutors told the court that the investigation is heading into its final phase. Franklin Wittemanina, press officer, says that Netherlands Public Prosecution Service in Amsterdam explained that Jacquier will remain in custody until his trial. The suspect and his lawyer were present at the Amsterdam court. The trial, the substantive hearing, will take place on March 8 at 14 hours. The court has decided that the suspect will continue to remain in custody until March 8. The investigation into the stabbing of the suspect is in the final phase. The prosecutor is only waiting for the results of digital investigation into the suspect's phone, he continued. The public prosecutor is reportedly awaiting pertinent information from Jamaican authorities regarding Cur's prior convictions. In an earlier interview with reporters, Jacquier's lawyer noted that he has thoroughly interviewed the singer and is prepared to argue his case. Bert Samuels blasts scandalous allegations against Popcorn. Embarrassing, defamatory, and scandalous is how Bert Samuels, the attorney at law for dancehall artist Popcorn, described the DJ's travel woes, which seems red flag against his name, which results in him being held in immigration whenever he visits the United Kingdom. Popcorn is not detained in the UK, Samuels emphasized. Everything about Popcorn enters the UK. He is kept in immigration for 3 hours or more on the basis that there is a red flag with the allegations. That's his name out in the tweet, Bert stated. On Wednesday morning, Popcorn, whose real name is Andre Sutherland, tweeted that he was lavishing in immigration in England, owing to the fact that gang leader and firearm allegations have popped up against his name. I would like to know why someone with authority in Jamaica sent information to England immigration that I'm a gang leader and I got charged with firearm. This is not cool at all. From my own country, why have I been sitting in immigration for over 3 hours? He tweeted at 3:30 a.m. Those allegations are totally false. Popcorn has a clean record in Jamaica. At no time has Popcorn ever been charged with anything to do with a gun. It is embarrassing that this information originates from Jamaica. It is defamatory and scandalous, Samuel said sternly. The high-profile lawyer explained that his client has been going through this routine for the past 3 to 4 years. It has implications for his ability to travel elsewhere in the world frontally, Samuels added. In his response to Popcorn's tweet on social media, Samuels had tweeted, "Poppy, as your lawyer, I totally reject those false allegations. #Jamaica or move it now." Clearly frustrated with the situation, Popcorn reached out to Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. He tweeted, at Bobsy Grange, "I tried to ask for your help with this before. Why people from my own country fighting Popcorn and telling lies about me and sending it to other countries. I don't know what caused it, but it needs to be off my name." Popcorn, a multi-award-winning entertainer, is the boss of Unruly, a musical outfit which has its own record label, stable of artists and merchandise. He has been in Africa recently and flew back to London from Ghana, his place of choice for ringing in the new year in fashionable style and celebs including Stonebwoy, Davido, and Stefflon Don at the annual Gabsy Gala. Samuel said that the artist, after checked-in were made, was allowed to go in about his business in the UK, as always happens when he is kept in immigration. Popcorn next stop is in Gambia. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.